Welcome back, you guys. It is Fit Greek here. So, today's video, as y'all know, if you didn't know, I am retired Air Force. So what my AFSC in the military was is one subcategory was fitness, and I was a fitness instructor. I taught all the fat military people. Yes, ones that couldn't pass PT tests, ones that weren't even fat and couldn't pass PT tests. So I taught TRX, I taught cycling classes, I taught remedials, I taught boot camp, I was a personal trainer, I did the fitness events. We also managed finances because, you know, as military we are allocated finances. But if you clicked on this video, you are wondering why I am so upset with the military PT standards. If you didn't know what PT means, physical training, or in their case, PT testing too. Anyways, so I retired out in 2012. Yes, I'm that old. And sadly to say, it's almost been a freaking decade. Back in 2012, or in the time that I served between, I served 3.5 years, so it was from 2009 to 2012. Our PT standards ran pretty across the board with all branches. Except for Navy, they wanted to tape your neck, which, ask me why that even matters. But why I'm furious today is because we are getting rid of, wait for it, drum roll, the circumference taping. That is your midsection. No military personnel likes the circumference taping. At least that I've been retired, it's just been spewing downhill. I mean, viciously quick. So, you know, we had about, I think, a 10-year age gap, and I'll plug all these photos in for the PT standards because, like I said, once I retired, it went out the door. But what our standards were sit-ups, push-ups, and the 1.5 mile run across the ages of anybody. Now, unless if you had a PT waiver, which was real hard to come by, and that's where you would not test until you were cleared. Your other standards were if you passed with at least a 90 and above, you test yearly or annually. If anything below that, 89.9 kind of sucks. You should have pushed harder than last time. Then you're tested every 6 months. But with the AFI, which is the Air Force Instruction Manual, you can also periodically do spot checks on your PT to make sure everyone is adhering to the guidelines. Yes, you can, read my lips, my filled lips, you can get discharged. You can get discharged from the military if you can't run your ass 1.5 miles, push-ups and sit-ups. They're not asking for much, believe me, because I was in the ER and came back stronger and busted out at least a 90. That was prednisone through IV and flared up joints, and this is when I just found out I had rheumatoid arthritis and Anyways, I was still busting out beast mode. I mean, I was on chemotherapy, folks. This is why I'm heated. But when I am someone who has these conditions, still pushing butt and pushing the muscles and still performing like any other active duty, if not more, physically and mentally. I say my retirement's bittersweet. We'll leave it at that also. But PT standards have lowered, and of course with that being the rise of weight gain. And no military personnel wants to do the circumference weight. And, you know, and I think that's a big problem. And that is setting up the government for a big failure, because if you think back, your adipose tissue, which is your belly fat, is the most dangerous fat ever. Really pushing onto your organs and being counted very few in points, if at all any, is a big setup for failure and possible heart attacks on the track. I'm not even joking. I wish back when I had the segment of a poor army soldier who was running his PT test. And the sad thing too was he wasn't shape or he wasn't fat, but he ran his PT test and yeah, had a heart attack. Then come Tri-West, or that's VA, Tri-Care, hauled him off in an ambulance and then wanted to charge him for the medical bill. Yeah, doesn't make sense. You're on active duty because the AFI is requiring you to, they're mandating you to run this PT test. So with that being said, you know, I had to. So I will plug in all the boring AFIs and all that stuff. There was about 70 pages. Yeah, that's just all the PT. Who got time to read every single word? Yeah. Anyways, but I was reading and I was just coming along with, you know, of course, famous Google, right? We trust Google with our life. But, and I'll post this, failure to meet Air Force fitness standards could result in involuntary administrative discharge. Your AFI. Administrative separation of an airman requires an honorable service characterization, and the sole reason for separation is failure to meet physical fitness standards. Now, I have a problem. I don't believe that if you can't pass a PT test, there's no way that you should receive an honorable discharge. Whether you're a good airman or a bad airman, and I say this, airman through enlisted or officer, because you are mandated to perform fitness tasks, whether it is in the gym, whether it is at your job, whether it is being deployed. Not everyone is a Ranger. Yes, we understand that. Not everyone's a Navy SEAL. We understand that. But also when you raise your hand to serve your country, you also took that vow that you were going to do what you can to serve your country. And if we're asking for you to simply run a mile and a half PT test, then I think that's very applicable to do if you train or do what you need to do to get in shape. When you fail a PT test, you literally have about, I think, a 90-day window. So what it is they put you on a Be Well program, and that's where you can go in, learn how to eat, learn how to do all your good deeds, and come back and take the PT test. So now there's 1 strike, 2 strike, 3 strike, you're discharged. Also, you can also have the commander waive that and say, hey, let's give you another opportunity. And this is where I come in play, where I am training these people to pass for their 5th time within the first year. So the thing is, once they pass, now they have another 6 months before they have to take another test again. It's a vicious circle because they don't keep up throughout the year. The standards have lowered, people have gotten fatter, and yet, you know, no wonder everyone is all stressed. Military in general, I believe Navy's also got rid of their taping of the neck. Even with the COVID now, the COVID has thrown military for a loop, if you can say. October 2019 to October 2020, that's 1 year. So now we are exempt, and now these new PT standards are kicking in this July 2020. So that's a good, I'll say good 2 years plus some months of no training. And I'm pretty sure most, if not a lot, of military people have not done any kind of training. So guess what? Now the failures are going to be skyrocketing as discharges are going up and enlisted are coming in, if any can, because a lot of people in society aren't healthy to even be able to enlist. I mean, just the simplicity of you're overweight, you know? So it begs the differ to why the military, well, it's not the differ, it is the reality that our military is getting fat, and as they are getting fat, the standards are going down. This did set me off just a tad. Just a tad. And like I said, I was scrolling through, you know, links of stuff. Paranoid. You know, you must be paranoid, right? Imagine being fired from a job for looking a certain way. That company would get sued, right? Now, imagine being fired for being a certain size. That's the AFPT, Air Force PT, physical training. Waist measurement. But it's because of health, right? That. A company and military, two separate entities. You can work at a company and do what you want. They might have benefits of you being more healthy than if you weren't, just as smokers and all that other stuff. Now on the military, on the other hand, it is a uniform career. And that is where you are enlisting and you are signing a contract saying you will adhere to what your president or chief of staff is going to say. So if that means you gotta jump, you jump. Unfortunately, the repercussions can come after and could be a snowball effect if it's right or wrong and Geneva Convention and all that. But point is you are enlisting into the military. What do you think you're enlisting to? A fashion show? You are obligated to follow the AFI or PT standards, whether they suck or not. You need to adhere to them. So, they are not judging you on how you look, but as far as your health. Your health is the main concern to the military because they do not want to send someone out that is mentally or physically not appropriate for deployment or to do their job. Because whether you are sitting in an Air Force chair, or you're out on the flight line refueling a jet, or whether you are getting onto that C-130 to go out for a deployment, you need to be physically and mentally straight. Where the waist circumference comes in with CDC and everybody, cardiologists, everyone, fat is the most dangerous fat, that adipose tissue. That fat just lays straight onto your organs. And who wants that? So yes, we do have to go with measurements just to make sure we're keeping everyone in track. You signed that contract with the military that you were going to adhere to the standards of whatever it could be. Whether they still have measurements or whether they don't, you still adhere to them. So, paranoid. I'm sorry you didn't pass your PT test, and you probably never will. That's fine, but you enlisted into the military, and the military is different than working at a corporate job. And that's my vent for my chest. I'll see y'all soon. Bye.